Glad you're with us today for the Lyons Share. I'm Mark Elliott here with the founder of Mitch Lyons Wealth. Would you believe it? It's actually Mitch Lyons. Mitch, the founder of Mitch Lyons Wealth is Mitch Lyons. Again, the website, mitchlyonswealth.com, Lyons, mitchlyonswealth.com. A lot of great information there. Mitch's book is there, The Retirement of Steel. The movie is there, The Retirement Deception. When you go to the website, just send an email, say, I'd love to watch this. They'll send you a code. Now you're good to go. It's about an hour and 10-minute movie. Great opportunity. Gives you an idea about retirement success. It's going to show you some of the challenges in retirement, but it's a great opportunity for just to learn more. Just by going to the website, mitchlyonswealth.com, you can get Mitch's book, The Retirement of Steel. The Retirement Deception film is there as well. So you have a lot of opportunities. And Mitch, we've started, the last 2-3 weeks giving people the opportunity for the Roth Blueprint offer. Maybe explain that a little bit for people maybe that have not heard this opportunity before.
Sure. Well, a lot of folks have heard of Roth conversions, right? Converting your IRA to a Roth IRA, paying the tax now versus waiting till the end and having to take money out for RMDs and getting taxed at unforeseen tax rates in the future. And it's kind of a big, scary thing because there's a lot of moving parts and it can be confusing. And so what our Roth Blueprint offer is simply, it starts with just a 10-minute call. We'll ask you a few questions about your specific situation. And then, factoring in your Social Security, your income, all that, we can dump it in our software. And we can jump on a screen with you and just show you exactly if a Roth conversion could make sense. And we can play with some different numbers. Hey, what if I retired at this age or that age? And, we can change some of those factors, but show you if it makes sense for you. And if so, how to do it optimally so that you're paying as little taxes as possible. And there's so many things that come into play, IRMA charges, surcharges on your Medicare. So we need to be cognizant of that. And our software takes all that into account. It takes all your, deductions and all that stuff. And we can show you exactly what makes sense to keep you below, certain threshold on tax brackets that you might want to keep it under. And we can play with those numbers and show you exactly if it makes sense. And no obligation to do it with us, but we'd certainly, be happy to help you do that. But it's a great opportunity for folks to see if it makes sense for them and to understand why it does.
Now, in the end of the last segment, I said contributions and conversions are different because a lot of people say, well, I get the idea that I need to maybe convert some of my money from the taxable world to the tax-free world, which means you have to pay the taxes now to convert it. But I can't afford to. I make too much money, so I can't do that. Contributions are totally different than conversions, are they not?
Exactly. Yeah. On contributions, you're subject to some annual limits. Depending on your age, between $7,000 and a little over $11,000 a year of contributions. If you make too much money, you can't even contribute. You might have to do a backdoor Roth, but still, you're going to be limited to how much you can do there. Conversions is a different animal, or are a different animal. You can convert as much as you want in any given year. Not that you necessarily would want to convert your entire $1 million IRA and put yourself up in the highest bracket, but doing it systematically over a period of years prior to your retirement could make a lot of sense. And the biggest thing, Mark, we can show people the math on it. At today's tax rates, we don't know what future tax rates are going to be. So I always tell people, listen, doing a Roth conversion gives you control. And we talked about having that silent partner. It gets rid of that silent partner. Get Uncle Sam off your account. His name's on that account statement with you because he's going to have his palm out when it comes time to take distributions. Even if you don't need the distributions, he's got his palm out and he's going to make you take RMDs. And wresting control from Uncle Sam by converting to a Roth can make a ton of sense and put you back in control of your own money.
And we've talked about this before as well. People that get caught up in the old, I think it was AIG, the commercials, right? That's your number? Yeah, I think that's my number. That's what they say where they're walking around the backyard with the number under or they go, hey, line up where you think the dollar amount is you need in front of that big board and stuff. And that's talking about the total amount of money you have. So we kind of get caught up in that, you need $1 million to retire. Oh, wait, now it's $1.5 million or whatever it is. Those numbers, we get caught up in that big number. At the end of the day, retirement is really about income, is it not? It's about what's going out, what's coming in, how much do we need month after month to be okay? And if we have the income picture taken care of, I would think we have a lot of stress leaving us. We don't have as much stress.
Well, absolutely. And, I always relate it to driving across a beautiful desert and this beautiful landscape, and you just passed the last gas station. You've got 300 miles to the next gas station, and I think I got enough, honey. We can make it. I'm not going to stop. And about halfway across the desert, you start questioning yourself, and you start sweating a little bit, and you're looking at the gauge, and you're starting to turn the AC off because you want to conserve some fuel. and you're putting the windows down because now you're really sweating, and now your wife's starting to question you. You know, honey, I told you we should have stopped, and you're not enjoying the ride. You're going past all these beautiful vistas and these buttes and cactuses, and and you're not enjoying the ride because you're too busy looking at the gas gauge. In retirement, it's the same thing. I want our clients to enjoy the ride through retirement, and you can do that if you know your tank is going to get filled up every single month with the amount you need. If it's $8,000 a month, you can spend all $8,000 because it's going to be there the next month. On the first day of the month, boom, it hits your account again. And so you're right. Your number, what's your number? Well, that top number, okay, how much of that is taxable? How much are you going to net on that number? So it really, again, I preach this all the time. What's that monthly amount you need? And let's talk about how we can get you to that amount as efficiently as possible, factoring in taxes and inflation and all that going forward. How do we get you to there so you can enjoy the ride?
Now, once we have that number that we need month after month after month, what do we do with it?
Well, there certainly are better ways to get to that number, right, than others. We talked about, sequence of returns risk, leaving it all in the market and just taking withdrawals. That is not a safe way to do it unless you just have unlimited amounts of money and you're spending a lot, very low percentage of them. You're going to run the risk of having some bad markets impact your retirement, especially early on in retirement. If you hit that bad stretch of the market while you're taking distributions, that can really put you behind the eight ball. So there are different strategies we take into account, right? What do they have in Social Security? What do they have if they're fortunate enough to have a pension? And what's that gap, right? If it's $10,000 a month that is your monthly need, and you've got $6,000 between Social Security and pension, say, well, how are we going to create that $4,000 you need every month? And how can we do it most efficiently? Tying up as little of your nest egg as possible to create the $4,000 so we can keep the rest of it invested for the long haul and grow it more aggressively. And there are some tools that we use to do that. There's some income annuities out there that can provide a higher proportionate amount of income than you can safely take. We talk about that 4% safe withdrawal rate. There's annuity products that can give you 7, 8, 9% type returns, in terms of distribution. So we can tie up less of your nest egg, keep more of it in the market for the long haul, knowing that we don't need that money right away. We can let it run because we've got the income taken care of.
So I would think that is a big deal, is the gap, right? You need
100%.
$10,000 a month and you got Social Security, maybe you're lucky enough to have a pension, but we don't have enough guaranteed income to cover the income needs that we have. So now we have to go somewhere else to be able to fill that gap. So like for me, I don't have a pension. I've got Social Security. I have some savings, but I don't know if it's really enough at this point. So I'm still working. That's the idea. But that gap, I would think I don't know if most people, do most people have a gap in what they have, what they need?
Typically, when it comes to just guaranteed money, right? I mean, they might have a balance in their 401k, but they don't have an income plan. And that's what we can help folks do is take their total assets and their different income streams and, hey, let's narrow it down and see what that gap is. And then, okay, let's take a portion of your nest egg and let's create that personal pension, really, if you think about it. If we can use a strategy that creates guaranteed monthly income, you just basically set yourself up with your own pension, right? And again, oftentimes, more often than not, we're able to generate proportionally more income than you could safely take out of a traditional stock bond account. And there's various tools we can use. I mentioned income annuities. Maybe it's a dividend portfolio. Maybe if you've got some rental income, maybe there's some different things we can mix in there. But that is just there's tools available to pay you a higher amount than what you're going to get sitting in your savings or in a CD at the bank, right? And so let's talk about it and let's map that out for you and see if we can just do it more efficiently for you.
One of the things that I think that we talked earlier about, especially with the NIL now in college athletics and all of that and the transfer portals, which are crazy because we're old, right? We're like, well, that's crazy. We didn't have that opportunity to do that. I don't know. Would it have been nice to have a check playing college athletics, but didn't have that. Now, Michigan State, there was a lot of under the table money going to the tight end for the
I never got any of those $100 handshakes. I know they were out there, not just at Michigan State, at other schools. I never was fortunate enough to get a $100 handshake, but I'm not complaining. It worked out all right for me and managed a 7-year NFL career, but was never the bonus baby in the NFL and not in college either like they are now.
So you think about all of that while we're trying to make sure that we have the income that we need. Where's it going to come from? How much do we actually need? What's going out? What's coming in? And then once we've got that figured out, once you figure out the income, now things kind of ease the stress level And now it's about, okay, what do we do with the other money? How much, how much risk do we take? Do we need to take a lot of risk? Do we not need to take a lot of risk? I mean, that's a whole nother ballgame. Once you've kind of figured out income, there's still other things you have to figure out, like healthcare would be one, taxes would be another, legacy, how you're going to leave things. I mean, there's still a lot. I think one of the differences, we talked before about the importance of having, I think, good instruction when it comes to the financial world. How do we take care of our money and how do we position ourselves for down the line? But it's kind of that same thing with brokers are great at helping you grow your money, but they're not going to set up a retirement plan for you. Life insurance agents can give you life insurance. Maybe even most of them, if they do it, will do variable annuities, which you don't really do variable annuities. There's a lot of fees in those. But retirement planners your focus is on retirees and how do you help them? That's what I think a lot of people don't really understand, how many different types of financial advisors there are.
I related to this, football background. I talk about the retirement red zone a lot. That's really where we're helping folks. And I loosely call the retirement red zone that 5-year period before you retire and the 5-year period after you retire. That is a critical juncture in your retirement, because if things go wrong, then it's going to affect the rest of your life. Because we talked about that sequence of returns risk and volatility in the market, how that can impact you. So it's different when you're 30 and 35 and 40 and your dollar cost averaging in and you're accumulating. It's the accumulation phase of your life. Well, as you close in on retirement, now you're approaching the decumulation phase. Just like in a football game in the red zone, those last 20 yards, the game changes. Things get a little more dicey and there's not as much room. There's a lot of opportunity for errors if you're not precise. So we need to dial it in at that point and make sure, to your point, hey, income, let's make sure we have you the income you need on a monthly basis. That's job one when I look at it. Hey, let's protect what you have. Let's get you that income you need. And then from there, we start expanding out. Hey, healthcare, okay, how are we going to have the income if your healthcare goes up or if you need long-term care? Factoring all that in. And okay, the rest of it you can be more aggressive on, but how aggressive do you want to be? How much risk do you want to take on? And legacy planning and all that. That all becomes a lot easier when you've got next month's salary showing up in your account because you've set yourself up with a paycheck for life. And I just think when we get that hammered down for people, I think it brings a lot of calm to them. And we hear this a lot. Gosh, we're so glad that we chatted with you guys and you were just able to show us how that we can retire and here's how we can do it efficiently, optimally. And then we can move on to the next parts of, how do we transfer money efficiently to the kids, whether it's, Roth conversions or whether maybe it's incorporating some life insurance in there to be efficient with your dollars and get dollars to the next generation, or in conjunction with an attorney and a CPA doing some estate planning, right? So that's all fun. And I enjoy doing it. It's like creating a game plan for Sundays in the NFL. We spent all week game planning and then boom, you execute it on Sunday. I look at it the same way as we're helping people plan for their retirement. And man, Sunday is the day they retire. And that's such an exciting time.